Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. In this video, we are looking at the Sunday MLB slate. We have afternoon baseball going on all day, 9 games today starting at 1 o'clock. So let's go ahead and get into it. The slate starts in about 5 hours. If you guys follow me on Twitter, you know we had a big takedown yesterday on NBA side on FanDuel. Put up a 369 there. I'll be doing a recap on the NBA video when I make that right after this, but wanted to go ahead and focus on the baseball slate in this one. So let's go ahead and get right into it. As always, appreciate it if you guys hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. You follow me on Twitter at the DFS Process. Check out the website, links in description, and let's get into it. So we have 9 games today, starting at 1 o'clock. We have a couple of teams that look really appealing to stack that I think a lot of people will go to. I think the Nationals are probably going to be a lot of people's favorite stacks against Madison Bumgarner. And I do like a few of them, especially Trey Turner batting leadoff. He's very good against lefties. We also have Josh Bell, super affordable, $3,800. The couple of lefty hitters, Soto and Schwarber, I think will be somewhat tough to get to. So I'm not looking at a full stack today. I'm looking at like a mini stack of the Nats bats, unless you wanted to just hope that Bumgarner gets shelled and early, and then Soto and Schwarber get a lot of at-bats against righties out of the pen. But Turner's my favorite Nationals hitter to target. The Yankees have a 5+ total against Kitteridge and Yarbrough. Yarbrough's a lefty. He's going to come in long relief. So I'm looking at like Stanton, Torres. They hit lefties really well. LeMahieu, Judge. It is a very nice stack, especially when they have 8 right-handed hitters in the lineup when they're going to be facing Yarbrough for much of the afternoon. Yankees are also a solid stacking option. Another stack that I'm really looking at are the Royals today. 4.2 total against Robbie Ray. They're probably going to get overlooked when you have the Yankees and the Nats and the Phillies. I would say I like the Royals a little bit more than the Phillies today, especially if there's no Harper in the lineup. But the Royals against Robbie Ray, he was super poor last year, especially to right-handed power bats. And you got Salvador Perez hitting home runs almost every day. You have Whit Merrifield, mashes lefties. You have Soler, super affordable. Michael A. Taylor's cheap. Hunter Dozier's only $3,300. I got to like the Royals stack a lot today, especially when they're probably not going to be super popular. So they're my second favorite stack. Some Brewers, one-offs are fine, even a mini stack here. You got Billy McKinney, only $2,300. You have Jackie Bradley Jr. batting leadoff at only $3,300. You have Garcia at $35. They are nicely priced. And I'm not looking at stacking the Rangers or the Orioles today. I think Gibson is a viable SP2 candidate at only $5,800. So going back to the DraftKings pitching position, we have couple of studs. You have Cole and Bieber. You have Peralta, who's been absolutely on fire to start the year. He's 95, so he's getting closely priced to Bieber. With only $500 being the difference between Bieber and Peralta, I'm just going to side with Bieber. He gets you deep into games. He gets you a ton of strikeouts. He's gone over 103 and 113 pitches the last 2 games. Great to see even in his first start, he threw 95. So unlike some pitchers that could get pulled in the high 80s, low 90s, you're probably going to get Bieber throwing north of 105, maybe 110 if he is pitching really, really well. I like him more than Garrett Cole just because he's a little bit cheaper. The matchup is fine. The Reds have some pop in the lineup, but they also have a lot of strikeouts. Aaron Nola's also really nicely priced. The Cardinals have a low total, like 3.4 runs. Nola's not been as crisp as the other guys that are priced above him, so we've seen his price tag come down a little bit. He still gives you a lot of upside. The matchups that he's had, they haven't been easy against the Braves and against the Mets twice. This Cardinals lineup is powerful, so I don't mind going to him, but he's behind Bieber, he's behind Peralta, he's probably even behind Strasburg, who's only $8,300. I know he got shelled last time out, but I would still like to see him bounce back here. He got shelled against this Cardinals team that Nola's facing. Cardinals do have some pop, and they do put a lot of guys on base, and they do have a lot of home run hitters, so I'm not really looking at Nola today. I'd probably go down to Strasburg. You have also cheaper pitchers today, like Kyle Gibson, 58. I mentioned him. He's a really nice option. Pablo Lopez, only $6,200. He was bad against the Braves, which a lot of people will be, but he's a guy with a lot of upside and talent. He threw 99 pitches in his second start against the Cardinals, threw 77 in his first start. I think he's really appropriately priced for pitching at home. He's probably $1,000 too cheap. So Lopez, Gibson are the 2 cheaper pitchers that I'm considering. To pay up, it is going to be for Strasburg, Shane Bieber. They are the 2 top-end pitchers I like. So I'm going to go with Bieber for now, and the second pitcher, I'm just going to put in Kyle Gibson for right now at $5,800 at home. he looked kind of back to me. He wasn't great last year, but the last 2 starts he kind of looked back to a guy that just kind of limits damage. He kind of works through it, except for that first start where he got absolutely shelled. Hopefully he figures some things out, and he's a quality starter. So Orioles have about a 4-run total, I think, at home in Texas. Both teams have a pretty low total. I think he should be able to be fine, maybe get you 3 to 4x at that price tag. And then for stacks, like I mentioned, it's the Nats stack that I like, the Yankees a little bit. I love the Royals stack. I like the Phillies a little bit. And that's kind of it. And a couple of one-offs like on Boston against lefty. So you have Bogarts, especially JD Martinez. They look really appealing. And then the Brewers, couple one-offs like Jackie Bradley or Garcia. Going to first base here, the guy that I really like is Josh Bell. He's checking in at only $3,800 against a lefty and Bumgarner. The Nats have tied for the highest total on the slate. He's been pretty bad to start the year. He's missed some games, so he's only been 19 at bats. He only has 2 hits in that span. But I would assume that he will start to make some more contact as he kind of gets more comfortable with the plate. He's definitely not as bad of a hitter as he has shown thus far, and the only thing it has done is really suppress his price tag down to $3,800 in a great spot against Bumgarner at home. I gotta like Josh Bell. Other candidates at this position are Rhys Hoskins, $4,600. He's nicely priced against John Gant. You can go down here for like a Carlos Santana against Robbie Ray at $3,900. Those are a couple of other pivots you could make. And Aguilar against Wood, who's making his debut this year at only $3,700. He gives you some pop at the middle of the order. Second base, I'm looking at Whit Merrifield. He's not, 54. He's expensive, but all he does is mash left-handed pitching. It's pretty crazy. You wouldn't expect a guy like him to be have this sort of huge splits, but he has splits similar, but doesn't have as much power as guys like Cruz and JD Martinez do against lefties. But he gets on base. He still has a reasonable pop. So far this year, 2 home runs against lefties and 17 at bats. You scroll down a little bit, see that his ISO is at 412 thus far this season, only a 5% strikeout rate. And it's not just been, I know it's a small sample size this year, but go back a couple years from him, 296 average last year, 1 home run against lefties, 2019, batted 280 with 8 home runs, so that was good for some pop. 2018, batted 357 with 5 bombs. Career-wise, his average is 24 points higher against lefties. The ISO numbers, strikeouts, ISO is way up there at 191. Strikeouts are down. WRC plus obviously a lot higher, 26 points higher. The hard hit percentage is 6 points higher. He's just very good against lefties, and going up against Robbie Ray, he can also steal you bases. I do like Whit Merrifield at the top of the order, so I'm going to go ahead and put him in there for now. Other candidates, if you don't want to spend this much at second base, you can go down to like a Gene Segura, starting to get hot at the plate. Multiple hits in a few of his games recently, showing off some power, extra base hits in 3 out of his 3 extra base hits in his last 2 games for Segura. Jazz Chisholm, I believe he's a lefty. So it's a lefty-lefty matchup, but he's a very exciting player to watch. Hits for power. He gives you some speed on the base paths. He's affordable. So could be a low-owned option if you wanted to go to him. And then that's kind of it. The position isn't super deep. You could look to LeMahieu at the top end. But for cheap end, if any of these guys, bad at the top of the order, they're always good one-off. Second base is not very often a deep position. Third base, Devers lefty-lefty. I'm not really looking at him. He's expensive, but he's been really good after he got off to a little bit of a slow start in his first few games. But the main guys I'm looking at here at third base, I think you can go cheap for maybe a Travis Shaw against Chad Cole. But you have Alec Boehm at only $3,400. You also have, on the Royals side, Hunter Dozier gives you some pop at only $3,300. He's been bad to start the year, but him and Soler have been bad, but I would expect both of them to turn it around. They're both very good hitters, or at least a lot better than they've shown this year. At shortstop, you have Bo Bichette. He's 59. I like Trey Turner more than him today. He's $5,700. Just because Turner's another guy that bats at the top of the order. He gives you speed. He gives you some pop. And he's also very good against lefties. Turner and Whit Merrifield, 2 guys probably wouldn't expect to hit lefties as well, but they both do. Looking at Turner splits, so far this year, it's .438 average. Both of his home runs have come against lefties in just 16 at-bats, so that's a great sign right off the gate. Last year, he batted .375 with 4 home runs against lefties. Career-wise, the average is 12 points higher. The ISO is a bit lower. The strikeouts are lower. But recently, he's been a lot better against lefties ever since, 2019. He hit for a higher average, didn't have for much power. But 2020 and 2021 so far this year, he's shown off some pop. Against lefties, also a guy that will steal some bases. And you'll probably be looking at 5 at-bats if this Nat stack does go off today. And then in the outfield, I love JD Martinez is my favorite spend up today against a lefty in Dallas Keuchel. Then I'm not really looking at like Soto. I don't really want to look to him at lefty-lefty. I mean, Judge is fine, but I probably like Stanton more than him. Stanton is only $4,700. The Yankees got off to a really slow start. They're like 5-9, so that's not great. But there's not that many guys at the top end at outfield, so I can go cheap here for at least a couple. And one guy that I do like a lot is Jorge Soler. Now, recommended him on opening day. He had a home run. He played really well. Since then, he's been really disappointing. But I will go back to him here against a lefty. Soler gives you a lot of power. He strikes out at a high clip, but Robbie Ray is prone to getting you. He's basically the strikeout king, or he gives you some bombs. You're probably going to get one of those two out of Soler here. Hopefully he puts the ball in play, because if he does, I'm sure he has a chance to leave the yard. This year he's batting .333. It's only 6 at-bats, but he has 2 hits, including a double. Last year he batted .263 against lefties. Only had 8 home runs. Those were against righties, but that was a small sample size. 2019, .259 with 9 bombs. Career-wise for Soler, he hits lefties a little bit better in terms of average. The ISO is pretty similar to both sides. Strikeouts like 1% lower, not anything crazy there. See what the hard hit percentage looks like, over 40% for both sides of the plate. To get him at only $3,400, I know he's been bad, but this is the type of spot where I would assume you'll hopefully get back on track, and maybe he won't get too much ownership. So that's it for this one. Looking at the Nats, looking at the Royals a bit today. Those are a couple of my top stacks. And then Gibson and Bieber as my pitchers. So that's it for DK. Let's jump over to FanDuel. All right, on this FanDuel slate, they have only 8 games compared to 9 on DraftKings. But looking at the price tags, it's always nice to look at Fantasy Labs. You can kind of get a quick glimpse of every sort of price tag, and you get a sort of their batting order. So Trey Turner, still batting leadoff. I like him. Josh Bell is affordable. But Starling Castro is nicely priced. Josh Harrison's been hitting the ball really well. Could even go with Victor Robles at the bottom of the order. The Yanks side, if Frazier's in the lineup, he's only $2,100. He gives you some upside for sure. You have Stanton, Torres only $2,700. LeMahieu is $33. So Yankees are also somewhat nicely priced. The Philly side, Alec Boehm is a guy that I would like to get to a bit. Didi Gregorius against John Gant. And then Harper, if he's in the lineup, he's not been very good this year, at least to start. We know he's a very streaky hitter, so at least as soon as he gets it going, you're going to want to play Harper a lot. But it hasn't really happened yet, and we'll see if he's in the lineup today or not. Other guys that I like, let's see if the Royals are still nicely priced. They are. Soler is $2,700, Taylor is $2,400, Dozier is only $2,100. You also get bottom of the order with Alberto, who hits lefties well. Whit Merrifield's expensive, but it doesn't really matter. Santana's only $2,500. So definitely the Royals look nicely priced. And the Brewers, you have Bradley, Travis Shaw, Garcia. They're also really nicely priced. So we can pay up for a pitcher on FanDuel. Just looking at some of the value that we have, you can go Peralta 85. I'm just going to rock with Shane Bieber on both, just because I liked some of the cheaper stacks that I mentioned, and I think you can be fine. Bieber is like the safest option on this slate. Going to catcher/first base, Perez has been mashing the ball. He's already hit 4 bombs, hitting over 300 on the season, 9 RBIs. If you plug him in, it leaves you with only $2,800 left. You could go a bit cheaper here and put in Carlos Santana, who's only $2,500. Gives you a little bit of savings for a guy that's shown off some pop this year. He hits right in the middle of the lineup, and if this stack does go off, you're probably going to see Santana be at least a decent part of it. So I do like getting to him at catcher/first base. Second base, Whit Merrifield. I want to get to him. He's 39. He's going to be definitely going to make some things a little bit difficult, but I would say if we can get to Whit Merrifield and Trey Turner and then kind of figure out the rest, that is what I want to do. So Merrifield and Turner, second base isn't super deep of a position. You could go down to LeMahieu. You could look to maybe Josh Harrison if he's in the lineup, or Torres is 27, or Kevin Biggio if he's in the lineup at 25. But I really don't mind getting to Whit Merrifield. I think he gives you a ton of upside batting at the top of the order. Third base, we have cheap guys we can look to. It's probably a position where I will spend down a little bit. See if Dozier is third base eligible. He's only $2,100. He fits right into any sort of Casey stack that you want to get to. Is Castro a third base option? Second base, $2,500. See if anybody on the Nats is third base option. Cabrera's $33K exactly. Could do a little bit better. We'll see. If Dozier's batting like 6, I would like to get to him. And the outfield, also not a lot of guys I want to pay up for, except for like maybe Stanton, but he's 30. He's pretty affordable. Not really a pay up at $3,500. I'm looking to go with some of these Royals and the Nats stacks here. The Nats are tough to get to in the outfield because you have Soto and you have Schwarber, 2 lefties. Don't really want to play them against Bumgarner. So I'm going to go down for Soler again. I mean, the Royals, they're going to be my favorite stack today. At least on FanDuel, just looking at the price tags. I love Soler's price. I like Santana's price. And Merrifield is just a guy that hits the ball really well against lefties. And he hits the ball really well in general. For value, you have Jackie Bradley Jr. batting leadoff, $2,400. You have Michael A. Taylor at $2,400. He's been a little bit better. He's been a lot better than Soler, so you could save some money and go to him if you wanted to. But I just think Soler is on the verge of breaking out, so hopefully that happens today. So that's it for the video for baseball today. Thank you guys for watching. Best of luck today, and I'll stay tuned for the NBA video. I'm going to be working on that right now.